It is 11:30 p.m. You are exhausted, your eyes are burning, and you know you have to wake up early in exactly 7 hours. But instead of turning off your lamp and going to sleep, you are just staring at your phone, scrolling through short videos, and you tell yourself, just 3 more videos, then just until midnight. Suddenly, it's 1 a.m. You're angry at yourself, you feel entirely out of control, and you're dreading the morning alarm. Why do we do this? Why do smart, capable people continuously engage in behaviors they actively know are ruining their tomorrow? Society tells us it's a lack of discipline. We label ourselves as lazy, unmotivated, or just inherently flawed. But behavioral neurology tells us a completely different story. Today, we're flipping the script. We're going to look at the dark side of the habit loop, dive into why procrastination is actually an emotional coping mechanism rather than a time management problem, and explore the exact science-backed steps required to dismantle the behaviors holding you back. Welcome back to episode 4 of Progress Over Perfect. This is your space for organizing your life, leveling up your daily routines, and managing your stress without falling into the trap of toxic hustle culture. We deal in reality, actual science, and practical strategies that make sense for a real human with a busy schedule. In episode 3, we spent a lot of time talking about the basal ganglia. We looked at how the brain uses chunking to build good habits and automate your daily routines. But your brain is completely morally neutral. It does not know the difference between a good habit, like studying, and a bad habit, like doom scrolling. It only knows what is efficient and what provides a reward. Let's start with procrastination. Procrastination is, at its core, one of the most universal bad habits in existence. So today, we're going to learn about the neurology of bad habits, the psychology of task avoidance, and how to effectively short-circuit the loops you want to escape. To break a bad habit, you have to understand why your brain defends it so aggressively. According to the research from the National Institutes of Health, or the NIH, bad habits are fiercely protected by the brain's dopamine reward pathway. When you experience a cue, like feeling stressed about an upcoming chemistry exam, your brain seeks an immediate release of dopamine to soothe that discomfort. Picking up your phone, eating junk food, or avoiding your desk provides an instant, highly concentrated spike of dopamine. Brain registers the sequence as stress, which equals phone, which equals relief. The basal ganglia locks this in as a highly effective survival mechanism, so the next time you feel stress, your brain effectively bypasses your prefrontal cortex, which is the logical decision-making center, and automatically triggers the urge to grab your phone. This is why willpower fails. You are trying to use logical thinking to fight a deeply ingrained, neurologically automated chemical response. Relying on sheer willpower to break a bad habit is like trying to stop a moving train by standing on the tracks and holding your hand up. You will lose every single time. This brings us directly to the most misunderstood bad habit of all, procrastination. If you constantly put off your assignments until the night before, you've likely been told that you just need to manage your time better. You might have brought 3 different planners, downloaded productivity apps, and set a dozen alarms, only to find yourself still staring at a blank document at 2 a.m. That is because procrastination is not a time management problem. It is an emotional regulation problem. Extensive research highlighted by the American Psychological Association, or the APA, specifically citing the work of Dr. Tim Cycle or Dr. Fuchsia Surois, has fundamentally shifted how psychologists view task avoidance. Their research demonstrates that we procrastinate because the task we need to do triggers negative emotions like anxiety, boredom, frustration, or a severe fear of failure. When you sit down to write a massive essay, your brain perceives the anxiety of the task as an immediate threat. To protect you, your brain triggers a bad habit. Let's check social media. Social media provides an immediate mood repair. You feel better for about 5 minutes. But then, the negative emotions return, now paired with a guilt for delaying the task, which makes the essay feel even more threatening. This is the procrastination loop. To break it, you cannot just schedule your time better. You have to change how you manage the friction of negative emotions. So how do we dismantle these automated behaviors when our brains are actively fighting against us? We do it by reverse engineering the habit loop and applying strategic friction. First one is to invert your environment. Last week, we talked about making cues obvious for good habits. To break a bad habit, you must do the exact opposite. You must keep hiding the cue. If your phone is sitting on your desk while you study, your brain is actively burning energy just trying to ignore it. The cue is present and it is exhausting your willpower. You must remove the visual trigger entirely. Put your phone in a drawer in another room. If you want to stop eating junk food late at night, don't keep it on the counter. Put it on the highest shelf in the back of the pantry, or better yet, don't bring it into the house. If the basal ganglia cannot see the cue, it is significantly less likely to trigger the craving routine. The second one is the 20-second rule. Bad habits thrive on convenience. If you want to break a bad habit, you need to add physical or logistical friction between the cue and the routine. A highly effective strategy in behavioral psychology is to inject a 20-second delay into your bad habits. If it takes you more than 20 seconds of physical effort to access your bad habit, your logical brain has time to wake up and override the basal ganglia. An example could be taking the batteries out of your video game controller before you start your homework. Or you could use website blockers that force a 20-second countdown before letting you access distracting sites. Make the bad habit incredibly annoying to execute. The third one is habit substitution. This is the most critical rule of behavioral change. You cannot delete a habit. You can only overwrite it. The neural pathway is already etched into your brain. If you feel stressed and you just sit there and not bite your nails or not check your phone, the craving will build until you explode. Instead, you must keep the cue and keep the reward, but intentionally swap out the routine. If stress is the cue and dopamine relief is the reward, you need a healthier bridge between the two. When you feel the overwhelming urge to procrastinate, swap the scrolling routine with a different low-friction action. Do 10 push-ups, walk out the front door and walk back in. Drink a cold glass of water. Over time, your brain will learn this new routine successfully processes the stress without the guilt of the bad habit. As you begin unwiring these behaviors, you need to actively protect yourself from the number one psychological trap that causes people to relapse. When we mess up and fall back into a bad habit, our default response is extreme self-criticism. We tell ourselves we are stupid, weak, or incapable of change. According to research from the University of Rochester, engaging in severe self-criticism actually increases procrastination and bad habits. Why? Because shame and guilt are highly negative emotions. And what does your brain do when it experiences massive negative emotions? It seeks immediate mood repair by triggering a bad habit. It's time to put the science to work. Your assignment for the next 7 days is to target exactly one bad habit. Identify the loop. Write down the cue. What triggers it? The routine. What exactly do you do? And the reward. What feeling are you trying to get? Add 20 seconds of friction. Redesign your environment today so that performing that bad habit takes at least 20 seconds of highly annoying physical effort. And then, pick a substitute. Decide right now what healthy, simple action you will do instead when that specific craving hits. Do not try to fix everything at once. Just put one speed bump in front of your most annoying habit and let me know how it goes next week in the comments. Thank you so much for tuning into episode 4 of Progress Over Perfect. Facing your bad habit and taking a hard look at why you procrastinate takes a lot of self-awareness, and you're already ahead of the curve just by being willing to listen to this. This episode shifted your perspective today. Make sure to like and subscribe, and please share it with a friend who might be beating themselves up over their own procrastination loop. Stop relying on willpower, start designing your environment, and above all, give yourself some grace. Have a great week, and I'll talk to you next time.